that. I think that would be, hey, wrenches and wenches. I think that kind of makes sense.
No, it's a term of endearment and honor, isn't it?
Yeah.
And speaking of honor and endearment, Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle has been a member for 10 months, and we are glad to have you. And so others can join. He also gifted 5 Midnight's Edge memberships.
Wow.
So congratulations to everyone who will pick up on those. And before we get into that, we have more topics to talk about, but let's see what you guys are saying. We have Grimzilla, who's been a member for 40 months, saying, "Wow, no wonder they delayed that Red Sonja movie for so long. Should have gotten Sydney Sweeney. Should have done it, and proudly, chainmail, bikini, and all. Here's hoping she'll get Black Cat in Spider-Man." Yes, because the theatrical run of Red Sonja has come and gone. It was on Wednesday. So yeah, if you think you missed it, it was a very, very limited release. So limited, in fact, that even though it was on Wednesday and we should be having actuals, we still don't have any actuals. What we have is the worldwide figure for Red Sonja's total worldwide theatrical run. Scribe, like how big was the worldwide theatrical run for Red Sonja again? Was it $250,000, something like that?
Depending on the source, it ranges from $230,000 to $258,000. So somewhere in there, depending on the source. And that's for the international from Russia, Australia, and New Zealand showings. Domestic box office for the U.S., as far as I can tell, has yet to be published.
Yes, indeed. And I would not...
So has it showtimes?
Its streaming date is August 29th. So just 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks from today.
Oh my
yes,
gosh. That's even worse than Superman.
That's when the real discussion about the movie is going to come. But of course, some people have seen it, and the response has been decidedly mixed. Most seem to agree that it falls into the category of mostly harmless, dumb fun. Not quite sexy enough. You would point the comment here, and I maintain, I've been saying this for a year and a half now. They should have scrapped what they had, and they should have redone it with Sydney Sweeney. Imagine if they had listened to me when I first started saying that a year and a half ago. If we right now had a movie in the aftermath of the American Eagle campaign starring Sydney Sweeney as Red Sonja, I submit it would have been $1 billion movie.
I think she's too short. You need a strapping. You need a tall, Scandinavian strapping woman.
Well, they had that in 1985.
Brigitte Nielsen,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what you need.
Yes, and Brigitte, by the way, is not her birth name. That is something that the marketers came up with because her birth name, her Danish birth name, just isn't sexy enough.
It's
Brigitte is
Griselda?
No, Gitta is her real birth name.
Oh, okay.
Broomhilda.
Yeah.
I just went to Fandango to try to get tickets for Red Sonja. I can't get them here where I live. I can't get them in Los Angeles, and I can't get them in New York City.
No, you can't because the run is finished. It was one night only.
That's crazy.
It played in the Catskills for like a night, and that's about
it.
I went to Rotten Tomatoes, and you're right, Andre. It's mixed. You've got some people that thought it was dumb fun and had a blast, and you've got others that say heretical things like, at least they didn't copy the Robert E. Howard curse or whatever. And I thought, well, I don't even think this version of the character is the Robert E. Howard version of the character.
No, it isn't correct.
No.
It's actually because the version that first of all, the Red Sonja that you all know, the one in the chainmail bikini, that is not the Robert E. Howard version to begin with. The Robert E. Howard version of Red Sonja was living in the 16th century. She was Ukrainian and she was a gunslinger.
That's right.
And she was fighting the Muslim immigrants. That was the original Red Sonja by Robert E. Howard. The Red Sonja that you all know, the one who is contemporary with Conan, swinging a sword in the chainmail bikini, that's Marvel's Red Sonja, invented by Roy Thomas.
Thomas, that's right.
And it was a Spanish artist who came up with the chainmail bikini. She didn't have that in her original iteration, so that came a little
Bless
bit later.
his heart.
Yes, indeed. And then this movie isn't even based on that. The movie is based on Gail Simone's Red Sonja, which was the reinvention for Dynamite Comics,
Right.
where they killed Marvel's Red Sonja and rebooted their own Red Sonja, who was a little bit more sexually promiscuous, a little bit more lesbian, and a lot more bad smelling. Oh, for real, she has a horrible body odor. It's part of the comics. So that's the basis.
Gail wanted to identify with the character, I guess.
Body odor was actually a feature in the comics.
Yes, this was referenced several times. How bad she stinks.
Can you scratch? Was it a scratch and sniff comic book?
No, it wasn't. But it may as well
okay.
have been
Thankfully.
without the emphasis that writer Gail Simone chose to place on it. I don't know what
Braided
that's
underarm
or
hair.
something, but yeah,
Gail also had a lot of influence on the Birds of Prey film, if that helps.
she did.
Yep.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, if you don't like my stuff, don't buy it.
That's right.
That was not Gail Simone,
was
but it
Kelly.
was somewhat of the same
Oh.
mindset.
Yeah, they're buddies. Kelly
Yes,
Sue
they
DeCarlo.
are.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yes. Sorry, I'm confused.
Good friends.
Yes, indeed. But still, I still maintain that this movie here, by everything I've heard, like it's basically like dumb fun and mostly harmless. It wasn't always going to be that way. That it is mostly harmless, dumb fun. For that, we can thank the director, the same director of Solomon Kane, because this was going to be a woke fest like you have no idea. Starring the black chick who plays Ghost in Thunderbolts as
Yes.
Red Sonja. So yes, of course, you had a black Red Sonja who was going to be a lesbian and fully covered in armor, no chainmail bikini because of the horrible male gaze, and it was all going to be about sexual identity and stuff like that. That was the case before the current director stepped in to save the project. So,
Who is ironically trans.
So was the original director.
Oh, so they
Only
had
much
an
more so.
excess of they had an
Was that-
excess of trans directors.
Is
Isn't
that a
that
job requirement?
MJ Bassett? Yeah. Now, when MJ Bassett made Solomon
Kane?
Kane, he was still a he.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
What's the word?
Transitioned.
Transition. Thank you.
Around 2015.
In 2017.
Yeah,
So
about
cool.
midway between Solomon Kane and Red Sonja is when
Yeah.
the transition happening.
Yeah,
And here's the cool thing. This is something that Bassett has been very clear about, that while Bassett may be interested in all kinds of like gender fluidity and stuff like that at a personal level, not as a filmmaker. Because Bassett's output as a filmmaker is pretty based, badass stuff. Whereas the previous director, Joey Soloway, the entire output there is all about gender fluidity and stuff like that. That's all that the previous director represented. That's the only interested in this script. So that would have been black, lesbian, trans Sonja. That we are getting mostly harmless Red Sonja actually in a chainmail bikini. For that, we can thank MJ Bassett, which is why I'm not too disappointed with this movie, because I recognize the bullet that has been dodged. But I do wish they would have delayed production a little bit longer, because this thing has been in the can for 2 years. If they had filmed it now, it would have been a very different movie. Because the production company that is making this Millennium, they are not woke in the slightest. They were only trying to ride the woke wave. That wave is now completely and utterly over. if they had made this movie now, I'm sure they would have made it with, if not Sydney Sweeney, then someone like Sydney Sweeney.
I wasn't Brian Singer attached to this project
He
several years
was.
ago? Yeah.
He was, and this was right after he was cancelled. Then production company Millennium, they figured this guy is now so cancelled that we actually have a shot at him working with us. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then they realized, oh shit, he's in fact so cancelled that he can't even work with us.
I
That
still
was
remember
the-
I still remember the poster for Rose McGowan to star in this
Yes.
thing with Robert Rodriguez directing. I mean, I've been sort of in the background waiting for something to happen with this property for a long time.
Rose
So-
McGowan. You mean
Rose
Yes,
McGowan,
Girl?
yep, way back in the day. We're talking
That
like
would have been
early,
horrible.
early mid to 2010s or something like that. a
Around
long time ago.
2009 is when that
Nine,
was.
and there you go. Yeah, and but I mean, if this is if the bar to jump was the original Red Sonja movie, and this meets or slightly exceeds it, no harm, no foul.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I mean, we're in Beastmaster territory
That's
now.
yes. Yeah.
And, although I did see a panel, believe it or not, it came up on YouTube, the panel of the main actors. One of the actors is he played in Umbrella Academy.
Mhm.
And the two girls that were in it, they're pretty, but they're slight. They're Q-tips.
Mm.
You know, you really need someone who can fill out the outfit better. But they're pretty. The women were both pretty, and yeah, I guess Bennett must have had a gender reveal party with the Wachowskis or something.
Oh, that's one of them. One of them. I remember
Yeah.
one had.
Yeah,
remember
this
one of the
right
posters
here
had
that
a-
we're looking at, this
Yeah.
is a teaser poster for the Red Sonja movie that was going to be directed by Robert Rodriguez, starring McGowan.
There was
but she
another one where like the sword was planted in a pile of
Yes.
skulls or something that looked a
Yeah.
lot cooler. But yeah.
Yeah, give me a moment. No
Problem with this is, I mean, it kind of has the same vibes as
There it is.
remember Heavy Metal 2000, Julie Strange. She was married to Kevin Eastman, the guy who
Oh yeah, I had such a crush on her. You have no idea. But anyway, that's a different matter.
Oh,
altogether.
there it is. Yeah. It's just sort of
There it is.
this chick that I'm sexually connected to would be perfect for this role that has never been done right or whatever. So there's all this talk about things going on, and it generally turns out as bad as Heavy Metal 2000 did.
Well,
I
mean,
kind of liked Heavy Metal 2000
Oh,
with
come
Billy Idol and everything.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
it was solid.
Maybe I'm in the minority.
I think probably I'm in the minority.
Oh, okay.
This sometimes does happen.
Yeah, Black Adam.
For instance, I love
For
Black
instance.
Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
Adam too.
I
It's
feel
a
better
nice-
already.
Yeah, I could have used more Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, no kidding. He needs
Yes,
his own
it
movie.
could. It could. But you can't have everything.
Nope.
But anyway, so yeah, Red Sonja is out, and congratulations to those that had the opportunity to go see it. None of this panel had that opportunity. Chris, of course, tried. Only tried 2 days too late. So fat lot of good that did. But yeah.
I'll catch it in 2 weeks.
And then moving on from there, we have another super chat I want to cover before we move on to the more scheduled news of the week, and that is from Miller, who says for 35 South African rands, the editorializing of the trades made it look like JJ Trek films were announced. They were not and would be against new finance structure announced. That, of course, would be the new finance structure of Skydance. Because guess what we have, this gentleman? We have not. Someone is going to.
Yeah,
It's not me. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Not I.
Either way, yeah, so that happened this week. We don't have a formal announcement, but we have rumors of 2 new Star Trek movies in development, which
Oh,
are
boy.
being given trade coverage as if they were announced, but they're just rumored to be in development. And who is developing these Star Trek movies? Well, that would be none other than J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot. Does that mean that they are definitively back in direct, since we are hearing this news now that these two movies reportedly are in development? Nope. Case in point, how many such news have we heard about Star Trek 4 for the last 10 years?
I'm still waiting for my Quentin Tarantino Star Trek, personally.
Exactly. This is the exact same thing.
And wouldn't they be well advised to give some time after the takeover to let the current Trek die off before starting up something new anyway?
Skydance would be well advised to do so, but Bad Robot wants to remain in Star Trek. They, of course, would be well advised to get the word out there that this is happening and try to drum up some enthusiasm, even though that never happened for any of the things that they either hard or soft announced before. That still never happened. Why would people get excited now? J.J. Abrams doing Star Trek again. Wow, what a sales pitch. What a sales pitch that.
Because he's been such a winner lately, you know.
Yeah, indeed. That's why he's the market is flooded over with J.J. Abrams' product right about now.
Do you guys know anything about Ronald D. Moore? There's also some talk about Ronald D. Moore coming in and working.
Yeah, we actually covered that. And that was in our most recent video on Star Trek. Check it out if for those that haven't seen it. This is one of the things that Skydance apparently have been discussing. We don't know exactly what they're going to do. We do not yet know what shot they're going to take. Maybe they have some ideas internally, but all we have are different rumors coming from different people in different positions with different perspectives. So we do not know positively what is happening. But what someone wants to see happen is that Skydance in part outsources Star Trek to Sony. Not because of Sony, but because Ronald D. Moore has a production deal with Sony. Meaning, if they want Ronald D. Moore, Sony comes with him. So really, it's him they want to come back and to helm Star Trek. And Ronald D. Moore, of course, was someone that very much so started out in Star Trek The Next Generation. He did all of those amazing Klingon episodes and the Klingon storylines. That was Ronald D. Moore. The most exciting things on Deep Space Nine with the Jem Haddad, stuff like that, I believe that was also Ronald D. Moore. And after Star Trek, he was the one who did the Battlestar Galactica reboot. And right now, he is doing For All Mankind on Apple Plus, which is in conjunction with Sony. So it's actually Sony that's making that under Ronald D. Moore for Apple. So if they were to work with him, it would be a similar thing as that, the same kind of like deal that he has with For All Mankind, which is basically there you would have Paramount and Skydance contracting Sony to have him do Star Trek for them the same way he's doing For All Mankind right now. Now, is that definitely going to happen? Don't know. But it's something that has been discussed. So it's one possible course of action.
Yeah, and that also goes along with the news of the Duffer Brothers apparently being poached by Paramount from Netflix. These are the Stranger Things guys. Yeah. And I'm not so sure if that's such a great deal. The Duffer Brothers, their only claim to fame is Stranger Things, and some of the seasons have been kind of wonky. I feel like it's almost similar to Amazon trying to take up Benioff and Weiss, and like they're going to turn into some, or Netflix take it. Sorry, was it Netflix that got those two guys? And then
it was Netflix got them to do like
Free Body Problem. That's what it was. Sorry, no, not Amazon. Yes. My mistake. But I'm a little curious about what the Duffer Brothers are going to do for Paramount if that story is true, and it seems like it might be. Because I think they're a one-trick pony, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Yeah. I don't know what you guys thought about the later seasons of Stranger Things. I always thought Stranger Things should have been an anthology series where each season had a different cast of characters and story, not some long, drawn-out epic like they've been doing with that. But then I think about that for a lot of shows.
Well, I think that's a good example of a show that should have done that. The second season, though, was interesting. I think I tapped out midway through the third season.
That's the shopping mall season.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah,
but they came back good in the fourth.
okay.
I give them credit for that, and I remember after they got renewed for season 3, one of them said they were hoping that season 2 would end it.
yeah. Well,
they
I
didn't want to go on. It was Netflix that wanted them to
Sure.
go on.
I know David Harbour said he kind of wished his character was killed off in the first season, or something like
But
that.
I do give them credit for bringing it back into some interesting scope in season 4. I think that does take talent.
The strength of season 4 was entirely, as far as I'm concerned, Joseph Quinn's character and Eddie Munson, because that kind of brought everything back to it felt like a very 80s horror movie kind of thing. And it was definitely a better season than season 3, definitely better season than season 2.
I
guess
would
we'll see how
actually
they wrap it out.
trust them more than the Russo brothers based on what I've seen the Russo brothers do.
I mean, if I'd seen something from the Duffer Brothers in recent times that wasn't just Stranger Things, if I knew they had some range, maybe. But I like I say, I'm happy to be proven wrong in my skepticism.
Well, I'd be happy to give them a second crack at something.
Something else, yeah.
Something else.
Yeah. Speaking of something else, and while we are on this topic, we got an update from Miller, who says for another 35 South African rounds, United has been put into development, and Secret Hideout is claiming breach of exclusivity and threatening arbitration. But Paramount has the leverage for a change.
Wow.
Now, you have to remind me, United. What is United again? Is that the name for the series that Star Trek Picard season 3 was setting up? Is
Yes.
that United?
Yes,
That's what I was
United
thinking.
Crew.
Yes,
Right.
because that is something that we were also hearing, that the really only logical continuation, if they decide to keep what has been happened to Star Trek the last 20 years, then the only natural way forward is to basically continue from where Star Trek Picard season 3 left off. And let's not forget that the reign of Star Trek, the current reign of Star Trek, has lasted from 2009 till now 2025.
Yes.
We are now approaching this horrid run of Star Trek lasting almost as long as the Rick Berman era.
Oy.
The Rick Berman era was 1987 till 2005?
Yes. Thereabouts,
Yes. Yes. So we're not quite as long as that yet, but we are getting there.
And people will still be talking about the Rick Berman era 20 years from now, and no one will remember much of anything from the Bad Robot era.
Very little of it, because I like some of the Bad Robot movies, and beyond that, I mean, the only thing that's really worth anything of the series is Picard season 3.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Picard season 3 acknowledges Picard season 1, and Picard season 1 acknowledges the Kelvin era movies because it takes place in the prime timeline in the aftermath of those. So if you continue, those things are automatically canonized. Although of course you can ignore Strange New Worlds and all of that crap.
Yeah, that's the one albatross around its neck, is that it has to exist amongst all that other garbage that they produced beforehand.
Correct.
Yeah, if Star Trek, if Picard season 3 had been its own thing, if Picard season 3 had been Picard season 1 and that was it, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's saddled with JJ verse and Kelvin verse and all this other nonsense.
Yeah, and that of course may be why. This is just me speculating, but that may be reason enough for Skydance, especially considering they actually co-financed the Kelvin movies. Let's not forget that. I mean, there's two major logos ahead of the Bad Robot Star Trek movies. That's Bad Robot, and it's Skydance.
True,
So
but
that
at that
would kind
time,
of like keeping their own past output relevant.
sure. But the success of the 2009 and the movies per se, I think, obviously, time has not done well to the Star Trek brand under Paramount. So Skydance, I would hope, even if they have their name attached to the Kelvin stuff, they would see that there has to be a major, no pun intended, course correction, or else it's just going to get even worse.
Yeah. And then a clarification, because I've United, apparently that is Star Trek United, a sequel to Enterprise.
Yes,
so that would
yes.
be
Scott
right.
Bakula.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah. Scott Bakula keeps being brought up regarding
even
Star Trek
better,
United.
because that would mean that they're discarding everything in the last 20
Yes,
years.
that would be a reset. That, if they actually went back to Enterprise, that'd be a great reset.
The one I was thinking of was called Star Trek Legacy.
Legacy,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
that's where they take Picard and the old crew beyond from like
Right.
Picard season 3. Yeah.
Do you mean they're going to attempt to redo Enterprise and make it the way the original creatives wanted to do it?
that would be the continuation, like presumably 20 years after Enterprise,
Right.
because the problem with Enterprise was that it was cancelled just as it was getting really good. We
But-
were getting into the Romulan War, and then Les Moonves decided, the hell is this crap? And he just canceled it. And the irony is that he was killing it when a show that was on UPN, a network that no one was watching at the time, and it still had more viewers than pretty much any genre entertainment today.
I just wished it had started the way they had originally planned it. I still think we need. I've talked about it with Script Doctor. It'd be really nice to have a very, very early version of all this technology being thrown together, and small vessels with just men in it, because they're the ones who are disposable initially. Getting tossed into space, having to deal with the original warp drives, people dying. It would have been, I think, a really, really interesting.
That would have been cool, but hey,
So,
the
like,
beauty is
yeah.
that with United, that's going to be like 20 years after the last season of Enterprise, so at least it should be closer to the original series aesthetic. So there's that.
Right. One of the problems I have with Academy is that it's so far into the future that you can't really, even from a scientific anticipation perspective, figure like what technologies would they even have that far into the future. Star Trek, at least, I mean, the original Star Trek, part of it's, we all know this, is the gear porn in it, the stuff that they were able to imagine that had Arthur C. Clarke level imagination, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Academy is just so far in the future. Why don't they have chips in their heads or something? I don't know.
The other thing too is that Academy, and it, I already know it's going to be a disaster. But when I first heard about Starfleet Academy, I thought to myself, well, it's going to have the DS9 problem, because the entire setting is stationary, and Star Trek is about exploration and encountering new things and having adventures and stuff.
Well,
So-
DS9 kicked into a high gear when Babylon 5 came on board. And
Oh
then
no, yeah, no,
both
they
became
yeah.
serialized.
Yeah, they solved the problem of being a stationary setting for the most part until they, got the Defiant and everything in there,
Right.
and had the wormhole, obviously, so that the stuff comes to them versus them going to the stuff. I'm just not so convinced. For everything else about Starfleet Academy that looks like it's terrible, just the idea of like setting a whole show there with it just not turning into soap opera city, I'm not quite sure.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be a horrible show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a horrible show. Now, the thing is, if it was in the hands of anime writers, if you're a fan of anime, almost every single one has got a Japanese school.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My hero Star Trek would be the
Yeah.
would be the setup.
And they have the uniforms, and there's jealousies, and then there's I'm always amazed at the importance of prep school in Japanese anime. But that's also part of Japanese culture, right? Because if you don't get through school, you don't get a good job. I mean, the level of tension. I mean, if you don't get into the right preschool it means you don't even have a chance to get into the right school to take you
Right.
to the right job. I mean, that's what Japanese culture is like. It is very, very learning centric. So,
Yep.
you
And it's
almost-
very important to have the right job so that you can sit on your office for 15 hours a day and pretend to be working like they do
Yay.
in Japan.
and you
Yes.
don't leave until the boss leaves.
Yeah. Well, that we do in Europe as well. But in
Oh.
Europe, we are all. I'm sure in America, we actually get the job done. This is like a hallmark of Japanese culture. Is, at least from my understanding, is that they work 15 hours a day, but they don't actually work more than
No,
like
you-
7 of those hours. The rest is just showing up. Look how good I am. Look how much time I am spending. I am now punching computer doing nothing. Not real, but at least I'm here. Look how efficient I am. That is, from everything I've heard, a very big part of Japanese corporate.
Well, there is
culture.
a
It's this appearance and
around
virtue
that
signal
too.
of working, of being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying?
So that's what you need. You needed to get an anime version of Academy with all the Japanese cultural touchstones. Then I think it would work.
That would be very cool, especially the being in office at all hours, just to show that you're there, even though you don't actually work. But that's or at least for much of that
And in
time.
Norway, people, I thought they from lunchtime they get the rest of the day off.
We are actually very no. That depends a lot on which job you have. But I will say that Norwegians are actually very, very good at getting things done within the hours of a regular work day. And we are really good at something that's called skippertak. That is basically that you let things slide until they become urgent, but then you work your ass off and you still get everything done in time.
Professional. Oh my gosh, that's great.
So we're quite
Professional
good at that.
procrastination. Professional
Yes.
procrastination. Yeah.
Professional procrastination, just like a student. Let everything slide until it's really urgent, then rush like there's no tomorrow, work overtime, and get everything done on time, on budget. Client is happy. That's generally the Norwegian way. And they're also really, really good at changing things in the last moment. Like, for instance, I know that many Swedes working in Norway are very fascinated by this. Like, for instance, if you would do like an IT project in Sweden with Swedish developers and something goes awry, then they have to stop instantly and they have to set down a commission to set down a council, and this council is then supposed to find contractors and do all of this bureaucracy and stuff like that to assess the next course of action. And it's going to be a several week delay. Whereas if the same thing happens in Norway, it's going to be like, okay, this doesn't work. We're going to do this. Everyone agreed? Okay, go. And there's no delay at all. You just change tracks, and it's all good. What that means
Swedocracy.
is that, for instance, if it's like something smaller and less important, the Norwegian way is going to work. If you want to build a rocket, I think I'd rather be in one built by the Swedes rather than a Norwegian built one. If that makes sense. Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But anyway, that was sidetracked. But I think we have discussed Star Trek to the extent that we possibly can with the little information we have at this point. What we do have that happened today that we can talk about is that there's a brand new movie on streaming. It's a movie that many people have seen in theaters so far. Many fewer people are going to see it right now, and that would, of course, be Superman, which hit streaming today, significantly earlier than anticipated.
Now, do you mean VOD or streaming?
VOD, yes, VOD.
I make a distinction.
Well, I don't, because to me, the moment it hits VOD, I can put on my Surfshark and I can go get it illegally in so many ways in 4K right now.
Oh,
All the pirates in the world can do them. To them, it doesn't make a lick of difference if it's on VOD or if it's on streaming, because the movie is available in 4K quality right now out there on the high seas. And that means all other revenue streams are instantly undermined.
I thought it would be different this time.
Yeah, but
The definition of insanity.
yeah, but you know what? The people who pirate never would have paid for it to begin
True.
with. So I don't think there's
Yes.
any loss of revenue.
I don't think you're right about that. I think that among the pirates, that's where you have the biggest collectors and the people
Still a
that
small
go check
percentage.
things out.
Still a
We don't know. We don't know. What we do know is that piracy has increased massively in the
Sure.
last few years again. And I do believe that when you take physical media out of equation and all of the other revenue sources, which are either gone or severely diminished by streaming, piracy is going to bring them down even further. But be that as it may, of course, there's
The price makes a difference. Your recommendation, or someone's on the panel recommended Superman and Lois,
Mhm.
and the only way I could get was to pay for it, and it was on Apple TV, one whole season, and I think the entire season was $30 or something. And I went,
yeah.
okay, I have no problem buying that. It's when the seasons are $130 that I'm going to go, okay, I'm not buying a season for $130. If they price things reasonably, piracy is going to decrease. Like some people,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Well, I'll have a counter argument like that. Say that you already have Netflix, you already have Viaplay, and then you also have Discovery. You now have 3 streaming services. You are now paying like $60 a month just for that. And now you to see this one thing, you now have to get Apple as well, in addition to all the other things.
I want to know. Apple was just the cheapest of all the ones I perused to get this.
I know, but it's still another one that you have to go through
but
to get all the content. You see, that's like that's the issue, that streaming has become the new cable. Difference is that now you have to get your own cable package, and you want this content. Now you need to get this other service in addition to the ones you already have. Plus, you have to pay another premium on top of it.
And
commercials.
I've been railing against that, and that's not particularly useful. But I will say, at least up here where we're living, cable had gotten to the point where I think our next door neighbor was paying something like $210 a month for all the services that he wanted.
Good gravy.
So, which included at the time, I think, HBO movies and stuff, right? So cable got up there really, really good. I guess maybe some people are figuring if I'm paying less than $100 a month for all this, it's better than what cable was.
Yeah, of course. But still, I think that they are undermining the box office and everything like that by putting.
I agree. It's a pain in the ass.
Now. But the question is why, Chris? I know that you had some thoughts on why they're releasing the movie so early, because we were initially told, even by James Gunn, that the movie wasn't going to be out for months yet. Like September, October, November. That's when it would be on streaming or VOD for those that prefer that difference.
Well, and I think they may be equivocating, or they may be parsing words, splitting hairs, because it's not going to be streaming to subscribers until October on HBO Max. Right now, it's I think, as Paul said, it's on Apple TV Plus, it's on Amazon, it's on Fandango at home. You can pay $29.99 to own it in digital 4K, or you can pay $24.99 to rent it. And you
wow, too much.
Yeah, it is too much. And you only have, when you do these video on demands, you have 30 days to watch it from the moment you make the purchase. And then once you start watching it, it has to be finished in 48 hours. That's
Correct.
on the rental.
Correct.
I also noticed that you get a few extras on the digital that won't be part of the home Blu-ray, which is disappointing. But back to your original question, Andre, I think that I feel like it's probably not, it has nothing to do with the box office. It probably has more to do with a leaked copy of the movie getting out there on the piracy sites.
Actually,
And
I've seen that copy. It's not leaked. Well, you know what it is? It's a cam rip that is AI augmented to look better. But it's not an actual leak. When I heard that rumor, I went to check for it
okay.
myself. I don't recommend that anyone do this, and if you do, then use Surfshark. But
Sure.
but it's not an actual leak. It's a cam. It's a AI
Okay.
enhanced cam.
Well, then I'm not sure how to explain it because I'm still of the same mindset that whoever is going to do PVOD would have done PVOD in 2 weeks. And I still think they're going to get people going to see it in the theater. The problem are those you can't quantify, like, for instance, piracy. You know, as you and Paul were sort of debating back and forth about whether or not it has an impact. I think it does to a degree. It's probably minuscule, but you are going to have somebody that says, oh man, I've already downloaded it. Don't do PVOD. I've got it right here, right on my thumb drive. Let's just do that. So you're going to get rid of a handful of people, but I also think you're only going to get rid of a handful of people who want to see it in theaters. Because if you still want to see it in theater, I don't know that I want to spend $30, $24, $25 to rent it when I want that cinema experience in IMAX and I can see that for $15, right? I mean, I guess if you have a home theater system that is, you know, the top of the line, massive, and just is the most comfortable, wonderful thing you've ever had, but you also like the theatrical experience, maybe you'll do the PVOD. But I think it's going to diminish it from people going, why go see it in the theater? It's already on digital. And they may not go and explore that it's on digital, but then it just sort of, oh, okay, well, it's no longer special because it's not in theaters. Now it's already on home video.
I just keep thinking of the timeline of this where, like, okay, so, I mean, obviously we know James Gunn is a completely reliable source on everything he ever says about anything.
Yeah, on Gunn as a source, I just have to stop you right there for a second because Kelechi Oki says for $5, stop using Gunn as a source. There have been plenty of times where he's been caught with his own foot in his mouth. Find some other source for Warner. And everyone remember, The Flash is the best DC movie ever. James Gunn
the Flash is the best superhero movies ever seen. But I mean, but extending the benefit of the doubt, and I know there's plenty of doubt. If James Gunn said a couple months ago, yeah, Superman won't be out on digital until September. You know, he wants to have it right in line with the premiere of Peacemaker 2 and everything. But now they suddenly move it up. Okay, if we give James Gunn the benefit of the doubt that he was being honest then, or at least reasonably honest, then why isn't this something from up above? Why do you think it's not the studio or Warner got a little twitchy with the box office results not being exactly what they wanted to, and now they're trying to get as much as they can as quickly as they can to pad things out? Or, I mean, I feel like there's some kind of corporate dynamic going on here, and not just James Gunn being wishy-washy.
I agree. I think part of the reason why there's been wishy-washy is maybe, first of all, it's in James Gunn's interest to let everyone know that, oh, you have to see this movie in theaters right now because it's not going to be on VOD for a long freaking time.
Right.
And maybe he genuinely believed that at the time when he said it, or maybe he was saying it to create a sense of false urgency.
True.
That I don't know. I wouldn't rule that out completely. I do, however, believe that the reason to do this right now, because on screen we have an article from Variety, headline reading, James Gunn says Superman is getting digital release so quickly because of Peacemaker Season 2. Blockbuster hits PVOD after just over a month in theaters, but Peacemaker is out in a week. And by having the two of them, by having Superman released on PVOD, that's going to boost Peacemaker. And Peacemaker may further boost Superman because the two kind of go hand in hand, and we have been told by James Gunn, but again, it's in his interest that as many as people as possible go see Peacemaker, but Peacemaker is now the building blocks of the DC universe going forward, to which I would like to say, I've been saying the whole time, James Gunn's DC universe is in reality the Peacemaker cinematic universe, which I don't mind because I freaking love Peacemaker. But yeah, I think there's something to it. Maybe he was just creating a false sense of urgency to make people go see it in theaters. Paul, do you think that James Gunn would ever be so deceptive with us?
I think he's trying not to. I don't think he's purposefully deceptive because I think he's a fan. Feige's not a fan. So I think part of it is, he's had discussions with the powers that be at Warner's, the people that sign his checks, and we're now getting conflicting stories. But, that's my view. I don't see him as being purposefully manipulative.
Yeah, Scribe, how about you?
He's gone.
He is gone. Yeah. Well, Kristen, how about you?
Sorry, I think I made it pretty clear where this is. I think that Paul's right. Gunn's going to say, I mean, especially after he said that The Flash was the greatest superhero movie. I knew right then he must be in the middle of his second interview for Warner Brothers at that point.
But he had to say that. I mean,
sure.
Everything is, it's like a talk show host announcing Charo and saying one of the greatest superstars on the planet. Let's please welcome Charo.
Of course. Or the comedian saying, you guys are a much better looking group than last night's audience, right? So I think that that's part of what this is. It's Barnum and Bailey. It's entertainment. It's show
hyperbole.
Business. Yeah, of course. So I agree with, I can't remember which Midnight's Edge viewer was the one that you just showed the super chat for, but they're right. You don't take anything. Yes. Just take it all with a grain of salt. And I guess try and enjoy the journey, because it's a little topsy-turvy. It gives us something to talk about, fun things to speculate on. And frankly, I haven't seen the movie yet. I'll see it when it comes to streaming. A couple of our contributors over at Bleeding Fool have seen it. They liked it, and we've got an article that I think it just went up today. Wait a second. Let me see. What time did that go up? No, it goes up here in about an hour or 45 minutes about whether or not Jameson thinks this weakens the Superman, because I think the people most hurt by this is not the studio, it's the theater owners,
exhibitors.
Yeah. Yes,
they're being jerked around with the schedule.
Absolutely, and whether they can quantify it or not, the movie's already going to see diminishing returns because it's been out for a few weeks. But now they've got a sort of a scapegoat for why the numbers are going down. It's not going to make them be friendly towards Warner Brothers in the future. I can assure you of that. Hey, Paulie.
Hi, Paulie.
Yeah.
Thanks. Greetings, Chief. Well, topsy-turvy. Yeah. What's that topsy-turvy over there at the box office, see? Superman, Batman, Rubberman. Yeah, see?
What your Newsboys hat on, I see, too, yeah.
Yeah, I went to take Romy and our best friend to the airport real quick, and she called me her Uber boy because I put my little hat on. So, I take the luggage off, right? And they're getting out of the car, and then I'm like, I put my hand out. Well, where's my tip?
Good.
If you really want to be an Uber driver in LA, your Apple phone has to be completely in Chinese. And you're not allowed to talk to the passengers because you just arrived from Beijing.
Oh no!
Don't know a lick of English.
Wow, that's very specific.
I know, really. # stop Asian hate, Cheeto. Good God!
Wow.
Hey,
you,
I'm
you know
just
what's funny too
giving
is
you the facts, man.
I gave Romy $100. They're going to San Francisco for the weekend. I'm like, this is the first time you take Uber where they pay you.
I was gonna say that's the wrong way. Yeah, you did it the wrong
Yeah.
way.
You know, she really appreciated it. That's you got to do that for your ladies sometimes. You know what I mean?
You get a good Uber score for that, though.
But yeah, I don't know if I could chime in on this.
Please.
Yeah, go for it.
I think there's a lot going on here, right? I think they read the tea leaves and the way summer is, and Jurassic won the summer, and the ones that have legs the ones that have legs, F1 surprises they weren't figuring, even though it is Warner Brothers weapons, and then they saw that all the kids went back to school. Then they're like, oh, Peacemaker's coming out next week. We could still make a gang of money for weeks on end if we put it up now. And I think that's what they're doing. They're going to get a bigger percentage of that $24.99 per buy. And they want to also probably have those bragging rights and say Man of Steel was 120 million, I believe, DVD and all those sales. They want to beat that. So I think all those are in play. What's funny is by them vacating, you're going to have this vacuum for the next few weeks, at least until Conjuring, where you could probably see these other movies that are still there getting some new legs for the next few weeks. And then after, those movies will probably die out after, was it Labor Day coming up, or what's
It's Labor Day. Yep.
So what are the big movies that are still in that could possibly benefit by Superman leaving? You got Naked Gun, obviously Weapons, and I just think anyone's that stay there. But I definitely think that they're like, you know what, we can make some gang bucks on $24.99, and then in about 3 to 4 weeks from now, you're going to see it on HBO Max.
Actually, it's October, I think, but yeah, close enough. You may be right. I don't know that they're pulling it out of theaters, but I'm sure a lot of theaters are just going to drop it now that it's available on home video.
Oh, I think it'll hit 600 million at the end of the weekend, which is not like a big, oh my God, predict. Yep. I mean, they're already there. And you'll see after next Thursday, just them losing. They've already been losing theaters. That's all I'm saying in their premium theaters as well. And Weapons is gaining over 200 this weekend.
Yeah.
So I think
what is good though, because what's bragging rights for the movie is that if the final box office tally begins with a 6 and not a 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is something no Marvel movie is going to this year is going to be able to brag about.
Well, it's terrible. It's terrible this year for superhero flicks.
Oh, for sure.
Except for Red Sonja, because that one night, man, they really.
Yeah, we spoke about that earlier. And,
I was listening.
Yeah, indeed. Do you know anyone that saw that movie?
Well, the footage I sent you was from Mike.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and I was hoping maybe you can spend time and watch it, because there was a lot of interesting things that the producer said, that Matilda said. I was like, oh, I think Andre will get a kick out of this. It's 28 minutes of footage we got at a Q&A with Matilda and Luke Lieberman, one of the producers.
Yeah, he's also the Fredrik Malmberg of all things Red Sonja. So he's the one who's basically in charge of the entire Red Sonja.
Right. So at the Q&A, like at the end, when the audience is asking questions, two things came to me, Andre, was one said someone said the trailer didn't do you guys any favors. This is a really good film. And then someone wanted to know about a sequel. And it's very interesting what what Lieberman was saying. So
that was the most interesting thing, yeah. Which is basically that they hope to do a sequel. In terms of, and the spoiler for those that haven't seen it, there is also a question: will there be some kind of crossover with Conan down the line?
mm,
He gave a very political answer, but the actual answer is no.
Yeah.
Nah, not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Nope. Those two are separate, and never again the two shall meet.
right, legal, he said, yeah. But
Yeah.
so so my buddy Wong, who saw it, let me pull that text up because I did ask him after everything was like, well, what did you think of the film? So give me a second. Let me find that. And I did want to go because I found out about it during the day that, oh man, they got this Q&A happening in Burbank for one night only along with the film. But I had work responsibilities at that same
indeed.
time.
Well, you look for that. I'm going to do a couple of other super chats on this particular topic. Walter Tomasevsky says for $4.99, Superman looks to me as if the studio meant it originally to be streamed, but at the last minute decided to release it cinematically first.
No, that's not.
Yeah,
true.
I think
Oh.
I see why you would think that, but I think that that comment is more deservedly aimed at Marvel. But no accounting for taste there. And also about the early release, Kelechi Oki says for $5, this is also killing theaters and makes going to them worthless. Why go see a movie if it's just going to be on streaming in a month? Yeah, very good point there.
No, that's been the conundrum for years now. That's the
indeed.
problem, is the distance between one and the other.
Right, because isn't Thunderbolts just now getting to Disney Plus?
Yeah, you can see it on Thunderbolts on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when
And,
it premiered, but yeah.
I just saw an ad. That's why I even I was like, oh, it's not streaming yet.
Yeah, and also on the topic of streaming, Base Player 2011 IFY set for $19.99. Thank you so much. The problem is they're constantly increasing subscription prices, and now for certain services are putting ads on their top tier, and then you have to pay a premium for VOD on top of that. So naturally, people will pirate, and yeah, indeed, piracy is, I believe, at close to its all-time height right now, although I'm not entirely sure about that.
Yeah, streamers have really cranked up their pricing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the Skeptic Tank has been a member for 20 months and says, be thankful we don't have streaming contracts or lease agreements. If we want, we could cancel it anytime. Some people do sail the high seas to prove a point. Make a worthwhile film. Yeah, we have to be very careful with how you vote, though, because if you just remove yourself from the pool entirely, you don't actually vote. But yeah, vote with care and with caution. Polly, did you find what you were looking for?
I did, Andre. So this is from Mike Wong, and Mike, is a follower of all the channels, supporter of all the channels, and we go to movies often. So he was there. He's the one who got the footage. 28 minutes. Hopefully, Andre will do something with that. But you can also check out that 28 minutes of footage if you're a member of the Latino Slant.
Indeed.
Mike Wong, is he an Uber driver?
Oh no!
He would love that joke, man. He would love. He goes, I love him because he's Chinese. Like he's like, I like it when you guys make fun.
Yeah. And then behind the scenes, Tom is also chiming in that another reason that they are or maybe releasing them so early is because people kind of need to have seen Superman first, because Peacemaker 2 creatively ties very much into it, what with the dimension shifting and stuff like that.
Right.
They actually released a red band trailer for Peacemaker Season 2 in the last 24 hours, which really makes it clear that this is the direct continuation to Superman.
Right. I believe it's 3 months after the events of Superman, and it's getting rave reviews. Season 2. I think it's a smart move. This is a baller move. It's a nice risk they're doing, and they're and Mike Wong says the more racist, the better.
Wow.
I think he's
Well,
listening.
that's kind of humor I like. That's awesome.
Oh, I love him, man. So here's what he has to say about Red Sonja, if that's cool, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, go for it.
Of course.
It is not very good.
Shocker.
Girls are hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, carry on.
Oh no, he gave me a lot here.
Okay.
Girls are hot except the henchwoman, and the scenery of Bulgaria is gorgeous. The big bad is not very threatening, and the CGI Cyclops is quite bad. Directed and ran by mostly female crew. Gail Simone hired as consultant. Result is expected. And then regards to the lead actress, I liked her. Some of the feminist jokes were funny, but has a lot of usual anti-male stuff. Revenge was much better. She got stabbed through the belly in this movie again, like Revenge.
Yeah. We talked about the Shane Mel bikini. Although, yeah.
So Revenge was a
we'll just
movie.
go with it. Just look
Revenge?
at what Conan is swearing. But anyway, yeah, carry on.
No, I want to. Revenge is a movie she starred in a few years back.
Yes.
With the director of The Substance.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were talking about the Revenge movie from 1995 or something.
The one with Kevin Costner, you mean?
Kevin Costner. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God,
was like
Madeline
1990
Stowe?
even.
Yeah.
Those
I
were
mean,
the
she
days.
wasn't even born at that time, was she?
No, you know what's funny, Chris, is that I recently rewatched that one.
It's not that good, is it?
No, it's like it's a Tony Scott film, so it's got its
It
qualities.
looks great. Yeah. Okay.
And you kind of forget even the bad movies back then, they're like really good now.
Okay.
Anthony Quinn is
Yeah, that's right. He was
an
the-
Indian.
he was
He's
a
always
great
playing
drug cartel leader, and then he was just slaying fools. And then the great what's his name? James Gammon.
Yeah.
He's got those squinty eyes, and he kind of talks like this. I think at one point in the movie, him and Costner were selling horses to like one of the bad Mexican guys, and he's like, "All right, you're all done, senor, all done, senor. You go that way and you get out." He's like, "All right, I don't want to get banditoed." I just love that language, man.
Is that the language that was used amongst the banditos?
Well, I don't know, Chato. I just know James Gammon. He plays a real good cowboy. Was doing it for many years, and he's like, "Oh, all right, amigo, as long as I don't get banditoed."
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
think that came out the same year as another Costner movie, No Way Out. No, that might have been a few years before that.
those movies made money.
Sean Young.
They sure did.
He was huge.
Yeah.
He
No
was
Way
huge.
Out was a remake of The Big Clock.
That's right.
And it's one of the few remakes that actually does kind of hold up, except for can't wait for the Photoshop to
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
resolve that image. It's okay. I'm rezzing it up. If you want to see The Big Clock, go see the original version.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure Revenge would never get made now. It's probably a little bit canceled because, Madeline Stowe's character, for betraying Anthony Quinn, they slit her
Sex
face up
predators. Yeah.
and they drug her. They keep her drug induced, and now she's a prostitute.
Yeah.
And in the whorehouse, I get there's like some tranny there, and who keeps her medicated, keeps her drugged up. Which I'm like, man, this would never get made nowadays.
Yeah, you can't.
Probably not. But
And
let's transition from there to
Transition,
Revenge,
hey!
because we
Stop me.
drifted a
I
little
will.
bit.
I will keep going. I'm sorry.
There is a
Yeah.
difference between a transvestite and
Yes.
a tranny. So,
Okay.
Yes.
And a Chinese one too.
well,
And an
also
Uber driver.
driving Uber.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But before we start losing panelists here, since we also have Paul here, I'd love to hear you chime in on this, because we've been talking some DC. We have one topic left, because last week, scooper Jeff Snyder, whose biggest claim to fame, other than being with the Collider crew, is getting the shit beaten out of him by Uwe Boll himself,
Mhm.
dropped the scoop about Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2.
Uh-oh.
Which apparently features Robin. You know, everyone's favorite character that we all want to see on film. Said no one ever. And apparently, according to Jeff Snyder, who is, shall we say, appears to have some level of bias against James Gunn and the entire Gunn-verse, according to him, Robin is in The Batman Part 2, if indeed that ends up getting made. James Gunn was quick to deny this, saying that only 6 people have read that script. They can't possibly know this. But now, Grace Randolph have also chimed in and said that she has also heard that Robin is indeed part of The Batman Part 2. So maybe one of these 6 people is leaking. So I was curious. Paulie, what's the latest intel on The Batman Part 2? Do you think that Robin is in it? Do you think they're even making it? What say you?
My instincts is yes.
No.
They love Matt
Whoa.
Reeves, and they probably have had like at least a second or third draft for a while now. And to add Robin to them, sure, why not? You know, that's my short answer. And just knowing how some of these executive producers really admire Matt Reeves' work, and that's from firsthand hanging out, that type of thing. That's what I'm basing off of and my gut feeling. I haven't talked to my friend who she retooled the Penguin show. Really was the secret.
She did a hell of a job with that I
Yeah.
would say.
She is a secret. And I know she's got a new one she's creating this fall, but I just haven't really circled back with her in quite some time. In regards to this, we talk about other family stuff. But yeah, that's my initial feeling. Man.
Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in on this? So
I'm-
assuming that yeah, carry on.
Well, I was going to say I'm just trying to imagine the structure of this, because you'd have to take time out in a sequel to a movie that did not have any establishment of Robin. You'd have to establish that character. He'd have to become Robin over the course of the movie. And given the landscape that's established for Gotham City, both in the first film and in the Penguin show, this Robin would have to be, well, I would hope it wouldn't be like an actual teenager child, because it would have to be a very violent Robin. We're not talking about the Silver Age, golly gee whiz Batman kind of attitude here. The Batman's very dark subject matter as set up in the first film in Penguin. So I'm not quite sure how they do this, because there's only so much real estate within a movie to set up a character as important as Robin and then have him become Robin by the end. And the Bruce Wayne that we saw in the first film doesn't seem like the guy who would take on an assistant that's like some teenager that he's going to put in danger. I don't know. I just don't. I'd be very curious to know how they're going to do that iteration of Robin in this universe.
Chris,
You remember
any
Joseph
Paul?
Gordon-Levitt was kind of Robin at the end of Dark Knight Returns, right? Sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This could be as small as maybe the Carrie Kelly character from the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
And she, just happens to be hovering in the background. Maybe you meet the person, you know their name, and it's just sort of a name drop. We don't have. I mean, is Matt over at Cosmic Book News saying that, or is Grace, or is anybody saying that it's a co-star or one of the main characters, or are we just saying that the character might show up?
We are just saying that he apparently is in the movie. We
Yeah.
have no idea of how much he's in the movie.
He could
Only
be,
that
in the
Robin is
movie.
in
He
it.
or she could be in the movie as much as the Joker was in the first one, which I think
Fair
was
enough.
For all we know, yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you say that Robin will be in the movie, it just, I try to think of like, well, what's the worst case scenario, so to speak?
Yeah,
They have to give they have to give an origin story. You have to be part of the thing. If it's just going to be a glorified cameo or Easter egg, okay, who cares? Whatever, because that's basically what Dark Knight Rises was with that
That's right.
Robin.
And
So
it may
if
just
they,
be that.
yeah.
It may only
Yeah.
be that, and that's
Sure.
a nice little tidbit that you might leak to people in the media just to keep people talking about the project. Who knows?
Mhm.
And
I'm
James
also wondering-
Gunn, again, it goes back to the James Gunn is not necessarily a reliable narrator, right? So
Well, yeah, true. And I also wonder about have we had any clarification on whether or not the Matt Reeves Batman is the Gunverse Batman, or are these still
Not.
two separate things? Okay, so
John has denied it.
Okay, so Gunn is still planning on doing his World's Finest or whatever with Damian Wayne and all that.
Raven the Bold.
Brave and the Bold. Pardon me.
Well, that was the plan, but that may have changed. But what he has denied repeatedly, and I also think that the director of this movie himself has no interest in is Pattinson being the Gunverse Batman. I don't think there's any desire for that to happen
Okay.
among the powers that be. I certainly hope that's not happening because, yeah, I'm not taken with this Batman, but that's me. I am taken with that Penguin, which is fantastic, but not the Batman that goes with him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, the Penguin story, the Penguin series by itself was great all by itself. It didn't need Batman really, and I honestly would prefer to see more stories told in that setting and universe from the villains. I already have an idea for a Harvey Dent Two-Face origin story. I call it Law and Mental Disorder, and it would just be a legal procedural up until.
But I will
he gets
say
his
though
face
that
melted.
the Joker that we saw towards the end of that Batman, that's the worst, most ridiculous Joker I have ever seen anywhere.
I don't think it's worse than Jared Leto, but I'll give you it's one of the worst.
Oh,
no.
good call. Yeah. Is the Clayface movie going to have a...
Clayface is already filming, isn't it, Polly?
Is it going to have a DCU Batman in it somewhere?
Who knows? Maybe.
I mean, to me, that seems the place to put it.
That seems how you take a $30 million movie and make it a $600 million box office hit, doesn't it?
I would have, you know what? I imagine if there is going to be a Batman in the Clayface movie, it'll be about as significant and lengthy as Batman's appearance was in Creature Commandos.
Or the
Suicide 3 seconds. Or Suicide Squad. It'll be about 3 seconds, and it'll be Shadow, and we won't go any deeper than that. Yeah.
Well, who knows? I think that Matt Reeves' Batman, the Batman, is kind of a monkey in the wrench for James Gunn's DCU plans.
Yes. Certainly.
That's what I'm thinking as well, which is why I'm like surprised that they're even proceeding with this, because however much they may like the director,
Yep.
this is two competing DC universes.
Well, and who knows? Maybe James Gunn is lying when he says Pattinson won't be the DCU Batman.
That's also true.
Maybe we can't trust that completely,
Sure.
now, can we?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Well, we shall see what happens with that.
And
And
I
before-
do want to
yeah.
say that Matt Reeves was heavily involved in the story in that whole story processing of the Penguin.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Which is very good. I agree. Are they doing another season of that?
I don't see how they could, given where the story
No.
ended. But
Okay.
and I know that Colin Farrell was a little wishy-washy and wanted to go back into that
Yeah.
bat suit for another season. So I'd be surprised, but no, I think just like with Stranger Things, I was saying earlier, it should be that kind of stuff should be an anthology series where each season of whatever is a different character, a different origin story for a villain or something.
Yeah, so when I first started hearing about the Clayface project, that's what I thought they were going to do, would
Right.
be an 8-episode series like the Penguin, but that's
No,
not what they're
it's
doing.
Gunverse. Yeah, this is a Gunverse Clayface, not
Yeah.
a Reevesverse Clayface.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
also on that note, Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle says for $4.99. At this point, I'm more interested in seeing Gunn's version of Batman rather than this one.
Ditto. Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. I'd take the devil you don't know rather than the Pattinson we do in this particular case. That's me. Yeah.
Nice. That was great.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of it has to do with scheduling as well. I mean,
Sure.
if Reeves really wants Pattinson back, I mean, it's
Well, Reeves obviously is going to want Pattinson back. It's a matter of does James Gunn want Pattinson for his main DCU Batman, which he
Right,
has
but-
said he doesn't, and I hope he's honest about that.
right. So
But again, that's me.
I just would so that being said, I could really just imagine there's just been months and months of time of going back and forth just with Gunn and Reeves, like yes, no, and then at the same time, Pattinson's is having his acting career. He's not
Yeah.
gonna be waiting around. That's what I meant.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
6 years, over 6 years. They started filming The Batman in January 2020, and now they're not going to start production on this until 2026. Good
Yeah,
grief.
it's scheduled to begin production in early 2026, meaning a 2027 release.
Wow.
Which is why I wonder why even do it. But hey,
That's what I say,
that's
yeah.
me. If the people, as Paulie said, if everyone there loves Matt Reeves for whatever reason, and they all think he's so awesome, and they have these personal relationships, that of course trumps everything else.
Boy, what price love though? $500 million?
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, maybe
find
Robin will
out.
be in it. It'd be worth it.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Before we round out, we have one more super chat, which goes back to the earlier topic of today. M.M. Miller says for 35 South African rounds, United. So this is Star Trek. They want to use United, which again would be the Star Trek Enterprise follow-up, to soft reboot. Maybe launch animated Enterprise for Romulan War. Will be a 10-episode miniseries. Legacy-esque will be films. Okay. Oh, well, I'd be happy with that. I'd be very happy with
I
that.
like that idea.
An animated Romulan War, maybe even revisit the Kisinti, like the cat people planet that they were also planning on doing in season
Yes.
5, the one from the animated series. I'd be all over that. That'd be
Yes.
so awesome.
Yes.
So yes, bring it on. That actually would make me excited for Star Trek again, which is hard to believe after the 20 horrible years we have behind us in that franchise. With that, though, I believe we are fully caught up, unless there is something in the green machine. I'm asking the mods about that to help me out with that behind the scenes here. Meanwhile, gentlemen, what have you got coming, and where should people check you out? Paulie, let's begin with you.
I'll be live later today with Cameron Pasha. We're going to be talking about Writers Guild wanting to unionize YouTube and YouTubers, some more Corona fallout, and other items from this past week. So including the Superman going to. So that's later today, 3 p.m. Pacific. Thanks.
Yeah, be sure to check that out. And Chris, what you got going on?
Over at bleedingfool.com, we are the top story right now is on this Superman early digital release and what it means and what it could mean. We already explored some of that here. I'm actually pretty interested in a story that I've got going up tomorrow morning over there that I did on this new Amazon showrunner. Have you guys heard about the AI edit your own TV shows, create your own content that Amazon's testing?
Oh,
No.
It's called
yeah.
Showrunner, and it's in beta testing. And the joke is maybe we can fix The Last Jedi or Matrix Resurrections or something. Yeah. But that goes up at 8:30 in the morning Eastern time on Bleeding Full. And of course, we'll drop it on our socials at Bleeding Full. And you can always check me out at Chris Brawley. One last thing about this super chat that's up. All I want is for David Zaslav to come out and make a statement that says, I just want to say thank you to Alex Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams. We wish them well on their future endeavors. And
There you go.
and tell me that they're not in Star Trek anymore. Wouldn't that be great? Anyhow,
that would be awesome. But sadly, Zaslav has nothing to do with that because Star Trek is
I
Paramount.
know
But
that's Paramount. I know.
One can
We
dream.
need somebody like that over at Skydance, though, right?
Yeah. What Zaslav could do, though, is remind everyone what Tom just told me behind the scenes, namely that the DC universe and the Matt Reeves verse are two contractually different entities, and never the two shall meet.
Yeah.
Because there you have the moment that one villain goes into one universe can't be used in the others or something. So yeah,
it's getting weird
fantastic
over there.
stuff.
It's getting weird, and that's
Nice.
still as of today. Contractually, that could change.
That
But
can change. If
Tom-
there's a
Tom
will,
is-
there's a way.
Yeah, Tom is right as of today. Yeah.
Yes, and Kelechi Oki says for $5, how two sides of the DC universe is going to confuse audiences. Zaslav needs to grow a pair and just pay off Reeves already to either Gunn or Reeves. Yeah, I agree with that because just carrying on with two alternate competing universes. I mean, who needs Marvel when they're competing with themselves? It really undermines everything that Gunn is doing. He was supposed to basically make the entire DC universe consistent, only there's two of them.
Yep.
This is my main objection to the entire
There's really
the
three if you
Batverse.
count the Joker. There's actually three if you count Joker.
Yeah, but that's shut down now. So
Thank
yeah,
God.
you have
Yeah.
I mean that basically that seppuku pretty well right there. But with that, we are caught up with all the super chats. Scribe Light, what have you got going on?
Well, last night on TED Excellence, we covered feminist artificial intelligence. It's going to save the world, everyone.
Wow.
And our speaker from
And
Hanover.
the patriarchy, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. By the way, did you know that a matriarchy does not denote that there's any superior gender over any other?
I just
No.
burped in my mouth.
I learned that last night, and I was like, what? Amongst other things, I learned many things about artificial intelligence and also German efficiency. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, it
But
was
beyond
better
that,
in the past.
yeah, so it's over on my channel. And then on Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, I have my weekend show called Dog, Cat, Fox, and Friend. I'm the friend. He's the dog, cat, fox, somewhere around here. And looking at different stories over the week that I didn't otherwise cover in the news and oddities otherwise. So that's what I've got coming up. And nice to see everybody here today.
Indeed. And Paul, what you got going on?
He's probably eating something.
Yeah, Paul may be eating something. So
Oh,
instead
just
of
look
him
really
telling,
fast. Clint Eastwood is still very much alive. That's
Yay!
did someone say he wasn't?
You scared me for a
Someone put
second.
in the chat, so I went to go double check.
All right.
Oh, okay.
We should report more good news like that.
There you go.
Yeah. It's so. That was actually fun. You mentioned Julie Strain earlier.
Yeah.
And I was really remember that when she died. First, it was reported that she was dead, and then her publicist came out and said, "No, she's not dead. She's in a coma, but she's not dead." Oh, correct.
Oh.
Now she's dead.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
And more breaking news. This is the fake story was originally on Bleeding Fool. So I don't know what's going on here.
Hello. What?
What's happening?
Come on. That's fake news all the way.
Fake news.
Indeed.
I guess Paul is out or Paul is muted.
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, then I'll let everyone know on his behalf then that you absolutely want to go and check out Call Me Chato, and you also want to check out Appalling News, which is a hoot of a time. And I'm stalling now because I'm looking for the goddamn koalas. It's time to have to find them
Where are those
myself.
koalas?
We
They
know
ran
rain.
away.
How are
Let me
they?
see.
Koala
Yeah,
hunter.
Well, okay. I couldn't find the koalas, so with that, everyone will save the koalas for later. So don't go anywhere. This stream redirects to Paulie's, and with that,
Well, bye.